The story begins with a sense of fear and pressure as Earth faces its darkest moment. The sky above the planet is no longer calm or blue, but filled with massive alien warships that block the sun and cast long shadows over cities and oceans. These ships belong to the Varkish Dominion, a powerful alien empire that has conquered many worlds before coming to Earth. For 3 terrible days, humans have fought with everything they had. Earth's space fleets were destroyed, defense stations were crushed, and entire colonies went silent. Humanity is exhausted, wounded, and close to defeat. Deep under the mountains of Europe, inside the Geneva defense bunker, the last leaders of Earth gather in silence. The room smells of metal, sweat, and fear. Screens flicker with damage reports, and soldiers stand nearby, some injured, some barely able to stay awake, yet none willing to leave their posts. At the center of this tense room stands Commander Elias Rourke, a tired but steady man who carries the weight of the entire planet on his shoulders. He has seen too much loss, but his eyes are still sharp. Suddenly, every screen in the bunker shows the same image, an alien commander with stone-like skin and glowing red eyes. This is General Karun, the war leader of the Varkish Dominion. His presence alone feels heavy, like a storm ready to break. When he speaks, his voice is calm but cruel, filled with confidence born from centuries of victory. He tells humanity that their resistance is useless and that Earth will fall like so many worlds before it. Yet, he also says that humans are interesting. Unlike weaker species that surrender quickly, humans keep fighting even when they are clearly losing. To satisfy his curiosity and to enjoy their desperation, he offers a challenge. The screen changes to show a distant, lifeless moon floating alone in space. On its surface stands a powerful alien warlord, covered in heavy armor and protected by advanced energy shields that no human weapon should be able to break. General Karun explains the test with mocking politeness. Humans must choose their best sniper, a single warrior, to take one shot at the warlord. If the sniper succeeds and kills the alien, the Dominion will delay the destruction of Earth for 1 year. If the sniper fails, Earth will be destroyed immediately. The offer is cruel because even success only brings a short delay, not true freedom. Inside the bunker, silence grows heavy. The leaders know the task is nearly impossible. The distance is extreme, the shields are too strong, and the alien technology is far beyond human weapons. Some officers whisper names of legendary snipers from different nations, men and women known for impossible shots. But even the best human sniper should not be able to break alien shields from such a distance. Fear mixes with anger as the truth settles in. This is not a fair test, but a form of entertainment for the aliens. All eyes slowly turn toward Commander Rourke, waiting for guidance. He steps forward, his boots echoing softly on the metal floor. His face shows no panic, only calm thought. He looks directly at General Karun through the screen, meeting the alien's glowing eyes without flinching. When the alien demands that humanity choose their best sniper and choose carefully, Rourke responds with words that shock both humans and aliens alike. He says that any human will do. The bunker fills with quiet gasps, and some officers think he has lost hope or given up. On the alien ship, General Karun laughs loudly, convinced that humans have finally broken under pressure. To him, Rourke's answer sounds like arrogance or surrender. He sees humans as desperate creatures making empty claims in their final moments. Yet beneath Rourke's calm voice lies a deeper meaning that the aliens cannot see. His reply is not foolishness, but confidence in something the Varkish do not understand about humanity. Humans do not rely on a single hero or one perfect warrior. Their strength comes from unity, shared struggle, and the ability of ordinary people to rise when everything is at stake. As the alien commander mocks and accepts the answer, Earth trembles under the weight of what is about to happen. The challenge is set, the countdown has begun, and the fate of the planet now hangs on a single sentence that sounds simple but carries the hidden power of an entire species ready to fight back in its own way. After Commander Rourke's calm declaration that any human would do, the aliens expected hesitation, fear, and failure. They thought humans would panic, would send one person, one perfect sniper, and fall quietly. But they did not understand humanity. Across Earth, something incredible happened. Without waiting for formal orders, without needing rank or titles, humans everywhere began to act. A signal, quiet and hidden, spread through old networks, through abandoned communication lines, and even through civilian devices. It was a simple message, but powerful. Target the alien warlord. Participate if you can. No one questioned it. Soldiers, engineers, farmers, students, and ordinary civilians all recognized the call to action. Every hand that could hold a weapon, every mind that could aim, every person willing to risk their life understood the unspoken message. And they acted. On the distant moon, the alien warlord stood armored and confident, his shield shimmering like an unbreakable wall. He had waited for a single shot, a single human, someone he could mock as inadequate or desperate. Then the first shot rang out, not from a soldier on a moon base, but from Earth itself. It was small at first, almost invisible, a single-rail round fired from a hidden satellite, a modified civilian hunting rifle, a home-built laser cannon. Then another. Then another. Soon, thousands of shots streaked across the darkness of space. Humans had turned every ship, every station, every improvised weapon toward the target. Cargo freighters became firing platforms. Satellites long thought dead awakened and joined the assault. People who had never held a weapon aimed, fired, and calculated trajectories that no alien computer could track. The warlord's shield struggled to detect a single source, let alone millions of simultaneous attacks. His confusion grew as energy barriers flickered under a constant barrage, and the unrelenting hail of projectiles found weaknesses in the alien technology. Each weapon alone might have failed, but together they were unstoppable. The aliens had never faced such coordination from a species they thought weak, short-lived, and chaotic. Every shot carried a human mind, a human instinct, a human determination that refused to accept defeat. They were not just fighting for survival. They were fighting for each other. On Earth, the human leaders and civilians watched as their plan unfolded. It was not centralized. There was no single command, no single sniper to give orders. Instead, people acted as a collective, understanding instinctively where they could contribute, how they could make a difference. Some fired from space stations. Others modified old defense satellites to shoot high-velocity projectiles. Engineers converted mining lasers into weapons that could pierce armor. Farmers mounted rifles on drones and sent them into orbit. The unity of human action astonished even the most experienced soldiers. On the moon, the alien warlord tried to react. Shields flared, energy pulses shot outward, and defenses tried to track the millions of incoming attacks. But the system was overwhelmed. Algorithms failed, weapons misfired, and the warlord's confidence turned to panic. He could not predict where the next shot would come from, nor who would fire it. In a matter of minutes, the shields collapsed. The alien warlord vanished in a blinding explosion. Across the Varkesh fleet, chaos erupted. Ships tried to retreat, tried to regroup, but they had underestimated humans. Hidden fleets, previously thought destroyed, surged from the shadows of the planet, attacking with precision. Small, fast vessels maneuvered through debris and fire, striking the enemy where they were weakest. Civilian ships armed with stolen or improvised weapons joined the fight. showing courage and ingenuity that no alien could anticipate. Commander Rourke watched from the bunker as the first real victory against the Varkesh unfolded. He knew this was just the beginning. The aliens still had vast fleets, powerful weapons, and terrifying technology. Earth's survival was still uncertain. But for the first time in 3 days, hope returned. Humans had proved something the aliens could not calculate. Strength was not in one perfect soldier, but in the resilience, creativity, and unity of an entire species willing to act together. The human response was not random chaos, but a carefully instinctive attack, a display of coordination that the Varkesh could not comprehend. The Dominion had faced hundreds of worlds, but never one where every individual was ready to fight, where civilians became snipers, engineers became artillery, and children became messengers of hope. Each human action reinforced another. Where one weapon failed, another succeeded. Where a system broke down, ingenuity found a solution. The aliens' arrogance, their belief that only a best sniper could matter, blinded them to the truth. Humanity did not rely on single heroes. They relied on the shared determination of millions. Space itself became a battlefield alive with human ingenuity. Laser beams cut across the void, small projectiles tore through alien armor, and satellites exploded in controlled sequences that amplified the impact of each strike. Human ingenuity turned the environment into a weapon. Every orbit, asteroid, and debris felt a potential advantage. In the chaos, the Varkesh ships floundered. Their commanders could not give orders fast enough. Their calculations failed against a species whose unpredictability was its greatest weapon. The aliens began to retreat, trying to regroup in orbit and relying on numbers rather than strategy. But human forces did not relent. Pilots who had survived the first assaults flew their crippled ships like swords, ramming into enemy vessels to tear them apart. Engineers created chain reactions, detonating their own cargo to destroy enemy formations. Even civilians, untrained in combat, showed creativity and courage beyond any alien imagination. The tide was turning, and the Varkesh Dominion realized something terrifying. Humans were more than soldiers. They were an unstoppable force when united. Commander Rourke understood that this was the moment humanity had waited for. The aliens had been challenged not by one sniper, not by a perfect soldier, but by the combined skill, courage, and resolve of an entire species. And while the Dominion's forces were still vast, their confidence had been shaken. For the first time, humans were fighting not just to survive, but to prove that their spirit, their unity, and their ingenuity could outmatch the most advanced alien technology. The war had shifted. The Varkesh had expected a test, a demonstration of a single human's skill. Instead, they faced the full weight of humanity. Every person, every weapon, every act of courage became part of a single, overwhelming strike. And though the battle would continue, humanity had shown that the alien assumption that humans were weak, chaotic, or predictable was entirely wrong. The people of Earth, from soldiers to civilians, from engineers to ordinary citizens, had become the greatest sniper the universe had ever known. In that moment, hope was reborn, and the story of humanity's resilience, unity, and creativity began to echo across the stars. As the chaos of the human counterattack unfolded, the Varkesh Dominion reeled in shock and fury. General Karun, aboard his massive flagship, watched helplessly as his warlord on the moon had been destroyed and his fleet suffered unprecedented losses. The aliens, who had prided themselves on centuries of conquest and technological superiority, had never faced a species so unpredictable, so relentless, and so united. Every calculation they made failed because humans did not follow expected patterns. They adapted, improvised, and coordinated instinctively. Karun's rage grew as he realized that conventional attacks would not be enough. Determined to end humanity once and for all, he activated the Dominion's ultimate weapon, a planet killer capable of erasing Earth with a single blast. The weapon's immense energy built steadily, humming across the void like a low, dreadful heartbeat. Human forces, despite their ingenuity and courage, were already stretched thin. Entire fleets had been lost in the initial counterattacks, and the surviving ships struggled to regroup and mount any form of organized defense. The bunker where Commander Elias Rourke had coordinated the efforts buzzed with tension, alarms screaming, and the ground trembling as the massive energy signature of the planet killer reached critical levels. Civilians and soldiers alike were on the brink of despair, realizing that their ingenuity might not be enough to save the world this time. Yet Rourke's mind was clear. He understood that conventional strategies would fail against a weapon of such destructive power, and that victory would require a level of human creativity and courage that surpassed even what they had already shown. Looking around at the battered crews, the exhausted pilots, and the civilians who had taken up arms, Rourke made a decision. He would be the focal point of humanity's final effort, not because he was the best sniper or the strongest soldier, but because he understood what humans could achieve when they acted as one. He boarded a small, damaged command cruiser, a ship barely holding together from previous engagements, knowing that it would not survive long against the Dominion's weapons. His second-in-command shouted in protest, urging him not to risk his life, but Rourke shook his head calmly. "This is being human," he said, his voice steady. "This is what we do when survival demands everything." The cruiser accelerated toward the alien flagship, engines burning white-hot as it threaded through streams of laser fire, dodging projectiles and ramming past weakened enemy vessels. The humans across the planet and in orbit, seeing their commander take the bold, seemingly impossible move, understood instinctively what was required. Each soldier, each civilian, each pilot, and each engineer focused on one unified target, amplifying Rourke's final maneuver into a weapon of unimaginable precision. They directed every possible strike, every modified weapon, every improvised attack toward the small command cruiser which had become the pivot point of their combined strength. The Varkish, confident that they had neutralized human capability through loss and destruction, were stunned as projectiles, lasers, and energy blasts converged toward a single trajectory. The alien flagship, massive and bristling with defenses, could not adjust quickly enough to the sheer volume and precision of coordinated fire. Every attempt to track and intercept the attack failed. As the command cruiser neared its target, the alien planet killer began to discharge, the hum of its energy rising to a deafening roar that could be felt even across space. Human fleets, now acting as extensions of the command cruiser, synchronized their fire to strike the flagship simultaneously with the weapon's activation, ensuring that both the ship and the ultimate weapon would be destroyed together. Rourke's ship took the brunt of the enemy fire, hull plating melting, systems failing, and alarms blaring. The heat and explosions were overwhelming, but he remained focused, guiding the trajectory with meticulous precision, knowing that one miscalculation would doom the planet. From Earth and surviving orbiting stations, humans watched as their last hope made the impossible possible. They understood that this act of courage was not just about a single life, but about the survival of their species. Finally, in a blinding flash, the concentrated human fire reached the alien flagship. Every weapon fired across Earth, every projectile, every laser, and every improvised shot struck simultaneously through the command cruiser's trajectory. The impact tore through the alien defenses, ruptured the hull, and obliterated the flagship in a massive explosion that echoed across space. The planet killer weapon was destroyed before it could complete its firing sequence. Karun's fury turned to disbelief as the destruction of his flagship and ultimate weapon left his fleets vulnerable and directionless. The remaining Varkesh ships, once confident and imposing, fled in disarray, unable to face the ingenuity and determination of a species they had underestimated. On Earth, humanity breathed collectively for the first time in days. Cities still burned, fleets were damaged, and countless lives were lost, but the planet remained intact. Commander Rourke did not survive the final maneuver. His ship had been destroyed in the explosion, taking him with it. Yet his sacrifice became a symbol of humanity's enduring spirit. Across the globe, people mourned, but they also celebrated, recognizing that their unity, courage, and creativity had overcome impossible odds. Stories of engineers who turned cargo ships into weapons, civilians who became snipers, and pilots who flew beyond fear spread quickly, inspiring generations to come. Humanity had proven itself not by relying on a single hero, but through collective ingenuity, bravery, and resilience. Even alien observers who survived the battle carried tales of a species that could not be calculated, predicted, or defeated through conventional measures. The lesson was clear: do not underestimate humans, for their strength lies not in one warrior, but in every individual willing to fight, adapt, and sacrifice for the survival of their world. The galaxy would remember that day as the moment humans stood against impossible odds and emerged victorious. The Varkesh Dominion had faced defeat at the hands of a species they had thought weak, a species that demonstrated that courage, unity, and creativity could overcome even the most advanced technology. Commander Rourke's final act, though singular, symbolized the collective power of humanity. From that moment on, the story of Earth's survival spread across stars, a tale of endurance, sacrifice, and the unbreakable human spirit. It was a reminder to every race in the galaxy: humans fight as one, and when they do, they are unstoppable. Even in the face of death, they rise. Even when hope seems lost, they create it. Humanity's victory was not just survival, it was proof that no force, however powerful, could break a species that refused to surrender, that believed in itself, and that stood together in the face of annihilation. The echoes of that battle would shape human identity forever, cementing the truth that when humans are pushed to the edge, they do not fall, they become the ultimate sniper, the ultimate weapon, and the ultimate force of life.